Happy Monday and welcome to the Be Empowered movement. You caught us kind of fidgeted. We had a few a few hiccups, but we are
We
here.
made it. We made it.
Made it. It is Kimberly Robinson Alexander, and I am here with my brother, Dr. Hasshan Batts, who is the founder and president of the Prison Survivor Network. And I was thinking about our origin story and how we got to here in 3 or 4 short years. You and I have done several podcasts together. And each time it's about something different.
Right.
And it's crazy. I've done your podcast. I've come and spoken for you. We have gone to events and spoken together. It's like we together forever. You can't get rid of me now.
Listen, it's for life.
For life, for
You,
sure.
you find good people, you hold on to them, right?
Absolutely. How
Keep
are
the
you,
aces
my
tight.
brother?
I'm well. It's beautiful out. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm in love. I'm doing meaningful work.
Katara must be in the room.
No. She's, that's just the reality of it. I mean,
I hear that. I
yeah,
know.
when we talk about wellness, that's one of the things that we need. I mean, it helps Black men live longer.
Absolutely. And that is a fact. Black men who have women in their lives live longer. And that is because we make the appointments for you. We make sure you get to the appointments. We are feeding you, we are rubbing you, we are loving on you, and we're making sure that nothing gets too heavy on your body.
That's right. When we are at war with the world, we come home to that safe, secure place, and it adds years to our lives.
That's right. Now, women don't live any longer with a husband, but men sure enough do.
Well, when they say statistics, that means some live shorter and some live longer. So
go ahead and try to qualify that statement. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, it depends on the husband that you have. Mine is going to live longer because of me taking things off of him.
I love it. I love it. We are here today to talk about your brainchild, your baby, your new venture, the Prison Survivor Network. And I know it's been around for a while, but it is definitely, it's changing, it's evolving, it is growing, it is impacting, it is becoming a staple in the community. It is a catalyst to life-changing accountability, knowledge, friendships, family, community. It is so many things to so many people. Tell us where it started, why it started, what's going on.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for having this conversation. Thank you for the level of support that you've shown. And thank you for your vulnerability, transparency, honesty, all of the things, right? Because when we talk about Prison Survivor Network, there are people that tune out as soon as they hear that for a couple of reasons, right? One is they think this doesn't involve me. They say this has nothing to do with them. And I'm telling you, all across this country, I enter rooms of people of all demographics, and I say, raise your hand if you know someone, if you or someone you know has been incarcerated. The overwhelming majority of people are going to raise their hands.
Yep.
We say that mass incarceration is the human rights issue of our time. Yep. In this moment, in this place. In any given moment, 2.4 million people are incarcerated in this country. And that is important because how many children are impacted, how many parents are impacted, how many neighbors are impacted, how many employers are impacted, in addition to the people that are directly impacted by this issue. So me being
systems are benefiting from that 2.4 million. You can't leave that part out because it's a money maker, right? And
money maker.
Not only are the human lives impacted, but the way that our economy has enslaved families
That's right.
because of mass incarceration
That's right.
is like it's a business.
Yeah, and it's a business for the few, right? It's a business for specific families, but it impacts other families and entire communities. The impact that it has is so broad and wide and deep that something has to be done. So I directly have been impacted. You know, I've been incarcerated multiple times throughout my life, from 11 years old, my first arrest, to 32, my last arrest, to 38 when I came home the last time. And I thought throughout the years, if I just made better decisions, things would be different. If I just exposed my children to different things, would be different. You know, my father was incarcerated, my brother was incarcerated, I was in Raheem, I was incarcerated, my son was incarcerated. So this is like every male in my family has been exposed to this system, and many of the women.
Woman,
Say that again.
and every woman in your family has been impacted by your absence.
That's right. And the communities. I mean, you look at the work that I've done. We just talked about knowing each other 3 or 4 years. The work that we've done together and the work that we've done separately.
Mm-hmm.
I was facing 20 to 40 years. That's a 40-year sentence in Pennsylvania, right? The 20 is the minimum that your
Mm-hmm.
sentence is 40 years. So we would have never met. And we're
Yep.
talking about nonviolent drug offense. We would have never met had I been blown trial and got incarcerated at the level that the mandatory minimum
Yeah.
was. And so this is what and who we're talking about when we talk about this issue. We're talking about people that have been impacted by mandatory minimums. We're talking about everyone essentially. But when you look at the explosion of the mass incarceration, the prison industrial complex, that's who it directly impacts the most.
I want to highlight something that you said right there, because you said the work that we've done together and separately. And had you been incarcerated for the 40 years, you and I would have never met. And I want to remind everybody that I'm talking to Dr. Hasshan Batts.
Mm.
I want to remind everyone that I am not speaking to someone who has not impacted this world, who has not sought both uh, book education as well as practical and community education. We are not talking about someone who has not given to this community. We are not talking to someone who has not given reparations to this
That's right.
community. We are not talking to someone who continues to take from a community.
That's right.
We are talking to someone who came home at the age of 38, pursued higher education, and has done nothing but giving back to our community. And so I need to highlight that, because I want to make sure that it is understood that the worst day of your life is not the summary of your life.
That's right. And the other thing is you're talking to someone that does not identify as a unicorn, right?
That's right.
There's nothing special about me, although there's a lot special about me. However, if I can do it, a whole lot of other people are doing
Right.
it, have done it, and will do it. So we talk about this idea of breaking. If you fix it, you break it. So the people that have contributed to harming their communities, and we didn't create the conditions. However, we have harmed our communities. So nothing I say absolves me for responsibility for the things that I've done. We have to return to those specific communities when possible and repair them.
Yep.
We have to be present, because representation matters. The people that saw us doing the harm. So if you were selling drugs, if you were robbing people, if you were in gangs, and people were looking up to you, your apology has to be just as loud. You have to return. You have to right your wrongs. The people you directly impacted and indirectly. And the children and the younger generation and the elders need to see you repairing and showing up in a restorative way.
That's right. That's
So we don't only say to people, come to us, heal, go forth and get rich. We say, come to us, let's heal together, let's be in community, let's build generational wealth, let's rebuild our communities, and let's, create institutions that are
Mhm.
going to improve the conditions that ultimately lead to gun violence and mass incarceration, because that's what we're addressing, our conditions.
Yep.
we believe that incarceration is preventable and that
Absolutely.
is predictable. Those two things. It is preventable and it is predictable. And that you can look at the zip code that someone lives in, that they are born into, and you know their life and health outcomes. I can tell you what year you're going to die and how,
Yep.
based on being born in 11213 in Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Yep. And that is the idea of, if you know better, you do better. You and I live by that. We live by, if I know better, then it is my responsibility to do better. And when we talk about these systems and we talk about the cradle to prison pipeline, when we talk about mass incarceration, when we talk about food deserts
Right.
and every insecurity that exists, you can't help but believe that it's by design. When we have these predictive models, we have these predictive models. The the statistics are there. The years of proving it are there, and yet it still doesn't go away. The people who have the power to change it, they don't. So it's on us.
It's on us. It's on us to recognize and harness that we are the ones with the power, right? And that collectively we can create the conditions where children, individuals, families, and communities thrive. And that's all we're talking about. It's not we want to demystify wellness and success and happiness and love and all of the things that we say are our birthrights, right?
Right.
They are not magical. They are not mystical. They are not complicated. The same things that everyone wants for their children and that we know children need are what we're talking about providing. The same thing that every adult, we have this saying that every child needs that one caring adult. Research supports it. And then we go further, say every adult needs that one caring adult. And we go further and we say every child and every adult needs that one caring agency or organization or community that they belong to. And that's not complicated. That's not
Mhm.
as complex as people make it want to sound. That means that you need someone that you can reach out to when you're having a bad day, that you need someone that can identify your strengths, that, when you lose your job or you're looking for a job, you need someone that'll vouch for you and sponsor you and make the call and say, he's a good dude, give him a chance.
Mm.
I'm sitting before you because Shannon Palazzo, when no one wanted to hire me, she called down to HR and she said, I know this guy, man. I know he's got this background. I know all of these things are showing up, but give him a shot. And I was able to work at a juvenile justice facility because they gave me an interview and they met me, and the rest is history, right?
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
and then
right.
I went to get another job and to move up, and my record popped up, and Dr. Abby said to them, he was honest about it. He's gone to school. He stayed crime free. He worked a job. He wants to rejoin this community for legitimate reasons. Give him a shot. I mean, so that's what PSN is about. How do we stick together and build community? And it is about you. So people hear this message, they say, "Oh, I didn't go to prison," and they want to cut the phone off. No. What can you do to support a prison survivor and a family of prison survivors that need you to offer them jobs, that need you to vouch for them, that need you to believe in them, that need you to call your representatives, that need you to donate all of the things to
Yeah.
help create thriving environments?
Write that reference letter. And you bring up a good point, because I've never did time in prison either, but I'm part of PSN. And I'm part of PSN
You're
because
part of the core foundational team of PSN,
that's
and
right.
and
And
several people that haven't been incarcerated are.
exactly. And it's we all have the prison we we fight, we are trying to escape. We all have it.
That's right.
We all have it. We've all been through something. And whether that's figurative bars or literal,
That's right.
PSN is for everyone who wants to build community in a way, no, in a way that is meaningful, in a way that that just keeps us moving, keeps us growing. It's not an easy thing. We talk all the time. I have good days, I have bad days. I can call you on both. I can
That's
call you when my ADHD is on 100, and I can call you when I'm feeling low. I can call you when I just need to vent, and vice versa.
that's
You
right.
know, I can show up in PSN exactly who I am.
And that's what we're creating. That's community, right? That's the village.
Absolutely. And it's for men, it's for women, it's for young, it's for old. We have people who have done 40 plus years,
That's right.
you know, and we have people who have done 1 or 2 years.
Or 1 or 2 days.
Right. We just
Sitting
met
next
on
to.
Sunday a gentleman, what, he was 22, 22 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no judgment. There's no, we ain't talking behind each other's back. We say what we mean to each other. We disagree.
We laugh, we cry.
Yep. And we grow. And that's the most important. And you keep us honest. Like, we keep each other honest.
That's right.
And when we make commitments, we have accountability partners.
That's right.
We got people running 100-mile mega crazy.
50. 50.
No.
Oh, is it 100?
Ash is 100.
Wow.
Yeah, he crazy. But anyway, you get
Yeah.
ready to a bike. How many miles is your bike ride?
40-mile bike ride.
Yeah,
We inspire each other.
That's right.
We got people working on their doctorates. We got people working on their GEDs. We got people writing letters to children they haven't seen in 20 years.
That's right.
We got people taking vacations for the first time after 23 years in prison, taking vacations together. You and Bilal met up in Morocco with his wife.
That's right.
Like we have people. We're building community, right? So it's bigger than, and you began to speak to this. It's bigger than prison survivors in terms of physical prisons.
That's right.
We all know what it feels like to be pushed out, to be thrown away, to be rejected. We can deny it. Most of us, the overwhelming majority of us, know what it feels like. So to find a place in a community where you belong, where you can show up as your authentic self, where you can be vulnerable, where you can be strong, where you can help others, and you can be held accountable to your exercise regime, your study habits, your structure, whether you buy that computer that you say you need or not, right? Whether you've restored your relationship with your daughter, whether you have openly mourned the child that you lost.
That's right.
Like, to show up in a room with people through events, through virtual relationships, through text messages, through the morning medicine comes out every morning at 7 a.m. You get an inspirational message.
That's right.
If you don't need it, you don't listen to it. If you need it or someone else needs it, you share. Every day, multiple people tell me that they needed that message, that it changed their day, it changed their lives, and it's free, and it's yours.
Yeah. We're going to have a cameo real quick, though. Come here. Not you, Mystique. This is my 27-year-old son, Malik.
Malik, how you doing there?
Good. How you doing?
All right, heard a lot about you, man.
He is he's the father of two. He's a HVAC specialist and head of the maintenance department.
Okay.
Something along those lines at Prairie View. And
University.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's so relevant to have that conversation, right? Because I am a person who was a 16-year-old mother, 20 when I had him, a single parent, right? Who got a GED and struggled through all of those things. And when I think about my children, right? He's the second born. I have a 32-year-old who is up in New York and runs a program, a after school program with Mashula Montefiore after school program. She's the director there. I have a 25-year-old who just graduated from college and is working in the theater industry. And then I have an almost 20-year-old who's finding his way, but he's gainfully employed
Right.
and he's figuring it out.
That's right.
And that too is what PSN is about, right? It's about the legacy. It's about changing my origin story from growing up in the projects and, you know, getting a GED, having a child at 16, and having children who grew up in a house that I didn't rent and who are doing more than I was doing at 27,
That's
at
right.
25. You know, so when you talk about generational wealth, when you talk about legacy, that's it, right? We fix ourselves to make sure they see whole people, right? We work consistently to change outcomes for each generation that comes.
It's simple. And we say that, right? The solutions are simple. They're just not going to be easy.
Absolutely. They're simple, they're not easy, but they're easier when you do it in community.
You don't have to do it alone. That's the lie that they told us.
And do it afraid, right? I say it all the time. There's so many things I'm afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ashamed to say it. And I get support when I ask for it.
That's right.
You know, there's nothing wrong with being scared. And if we were too scared to fail, right?
Mm. Mm.
Maybe more people in our community would be successful. Because I think, and I talked about this before, I think one of the things that is so hard for me to deal with, there are two things. One is poverty of the mind. It's one thing to be broke, but it's another thing when you're impoverished in your mind.
That's right.
When you don't understand the power that you have and you don't want to. The other thing is, you know, you love my slogan, I didn't birth babies to bury them. And
Classic.
you know, initially that has always been about my literal babies, the four of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as I continue to grow and as I continue to grow with that slogan, so many of us die with our babies inside of us. We die with our gifts,
Our dreams.
hopes, you know, and that's like the sin of it. Leave it on the pavement. You know, we you try it, it doesn't work. You try something different. You do
Get
something
back in the
different.
game.
You before you get up. Or
That's it.
9 times you get up 10.
That's the classic.
You know,
They
yeah,
call it failing forward, man.
yeah,
I got exposed to these communities and start talking about failing forward, and I didn't know anything about that. But
yep.
that's how they build success. They train their children to fail forward, to take the shot.
Not to hide it, right? What happens at home stays at home. You don't tell anybody you failed something. You don't tell anybody you made a mistake. You hide your criminal history. You hide all of these
Everything.
things. You hide everything. And
Everything.
the reality is that it's okay for you to say those things and to do those things out loud.
That's right.
It's okay for you to there's nothing to be ashamed of. And our counterparts are not.
We hide so much that we shrink ourselves so much that we become invisible. We disappear. You know.
There's a convicted felon in the White House. Wait a minute. Like, we're not gonna make this conversation about politics,
But there's no shame. He's not afraid of it. He's not ashamed of it.
he don't care about it.
He doesn't care.
He don't care about it. So why should we?
So I stand in my story. I'm a
That's it.
prison survivor.
And I stand in mine. I stand in mine. And so PSN is all of those things, it's all of these conversations. But beyond that, it's a space where you can learn, treat curriculum.
Yeah.
It's a place where you can fix your credit. It's a place where you going in, it's self-guided modules, ways in which you can learn how to reacclimate into society.
That's right.
You sent me a text message today. I sent a text message back, had a conversation with a perfect stranger, which is very non-New York of me, to be very honest. But it happened, right?
But somebody in your network needed you. I sent out the bat signal. You reached out and said, I'm here to help. I responded with the bat signal, and you reached out to a stranger to help one of your brothers and sisters in the movement.
That's right. And and I can help him, and so I will. And so that is, several things happen. So you created a community, right?
Mm-hmm.
We bring people to that community. That community lives. We interact in that community. We share. Someone was brave enough to ask you to contact me. I was brave enough to respond to that.
That's right.
And now we're building something to improve his situation.
We are a people of call and response.
That's right.
And we have been taught to not make the call and to not respond when the call is made. And everything you're talking about is call and response. It's serve and return. Hey, Kim, can you help? Of course I can help. Here's what we need. I got you. Reach out to this person always. Of course, no problem. And that's how we improve. You get stronger because it feels good to help people.
Absolutely.
It feels good to have a skill set that is recognized. Because what we're doing is mutual aid.
Yep.
If someone's, Kim, can you write me a letter of reference? Of course I can write you a letter of reference. Hasshan, can you give me a ride to work? Of course I can give you a ride to work. It's not transactional.
No.
It's not that they're transformative transactions is what we're building, and it's mutual aid.
That's right.
It feels good to give and to do and to help, and it builds hope, and it builds strength, and it builds agency, and it builds belonging.
And beyond that, it's not transactional because many of us are going back into the prisons.
Yeah.
And those people who are still incarcerated don't really have anything to give. But we have something to give them.
They give their appreciation. They give their hopes. They give their happiness, We see the look on their face, man, and it knows that my time that I spent incarcerated was not in vain.
That's right.
Because I can come back. Huh?
They're seen.
They're seen.
One of the things that a lot of people talk about is when you go into prison, you become a number, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're stripped of
2120.
And you're stripped of your name. When you're called upon, that number is the thing that you're reciting. You're made to memorize it probably immediately, right? When you get in there, because that is how you are going to respond.
Early on, I'm gonna share this. A guy's name was misspelled when we first went through classification, and he shows his name. Your name's on your shirt. He says they misspelled my name. He says that don't matter. He said for the next 20 years, your name is HS 2120, whatever it was.
Right.
And that was real. They did not fix his name in the system. They didn't fix it on his shirt. They didn't fix it on top of his door. because they knew his name. That number was his name.
And that's crazy because I say all the time, the first gift you receive is your name. Your parents think about what they call you.
Mm.
Your parents think about what you're going to be called. Many of our children have names that mean something.
That's right.
Many of our children have names that have been inherited from people who we are honoring.
That's right.
So you go into the system, and the first thing that they strip you of is your first gift.
Yeah. Your
That's
number.
Yeah, like the first gift. My name is spelled differently. It's Kimberly Ley, and I'm fanatical about it because my father named me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to me, you know. And so it to be a number in a place and then to be told your first gift doesn't matter. And then to have somebody from the PSN network walk in and call you brother and call you sister and by your name.
Call you by your name.
It's almost a reinstatement.
We have a wellness guide as part of the system, which is a virtual support, right? It's a chat bot,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it emphasizes, tell me your name.
Mm-hmm.
So you reach out to this chat bot and you say, I need to find housing in Philadelphia, North Philadelphia. I just came home, or my son is incarcerated. He'll be home in 2 months, and I want to help him find a job. And it says, tell me your name. My
That's
name
right.
is Kim, and this chatbot's going to call you Kim the remainder of the conversation, until until it passes you on to a human being,
Yeah.
because your name matters,
Yeah.
and you are stripped of it. We talk a lot about prison is trauma, right? And trauma is a new buzzword, but a lot of people aren't talking about prison trauma. And the thing about it that's peculiar to this institution, to this idea of prison trauma, is this considered earned trauma.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to you, you deserved, and it's par for the course. You
Nah.
did something, you hurt somebody, you sold some drugs, you robbed someone, you embezzled, you stole a car radio, cell phone, whatever you did, you get incarcerated, and everything that happens there, I'm talking about by society standards, is part of incarceration. It is the only time that people will joke about rape, is prison rape. You're not going to see people joke about college rape. You're not going to see people joke about stranger rape. You're not going to see prison rape is a joke to people,
Yeah.
not understanding that of the 2.4 million people incarcerated, the overwhelming majority of them are returning to our communities. So you should not think it's funny that someone is assaulted, extorted, sexually assaulted. It's not funny under any circumstances.
Yeah.
And all trauma survivors are worthy of healing. And that is one of our principles, that prison is trauma. It is a dangerous, a lonely, a depressing, a toxic, a horrific place to be under the best circumstances.
And it shaves years off of your life. When I
Of
was
course.
the
Of course.
director of nursing in Harrisburg, I remember several things, and I was hated there. Um, and one of the reasons why I was hated there is because I was adamant that the medical room didn't have inmates.
That's right.
I would tell my staff, "Don't let me order the chart and see the word inmate. We have patients.
You have patience.
I don't have an inmate."
Language matters.
Not only does language matter, but just because I did something wrong doesn't mean that you get to break me. It doesn't mean that I'm unredeemable. It doesn't mean that you get to take everything out of me.
That's right.
And it would be so hurtful. I remember I came in, just started, and I'm doing the thing. I'm watching people pass meds, getting to know the system. And I watched one of the floor nurses take an envelope and she put 15, 20 pills in this envelope. And then she took the envelope and she took a excuse me, almost like a paperweight, and she crushed every single pill in the envelope. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Oh, we have to crush all the medication." I said, "But
Damn.
you put such and such in there, and you put such and such in there, and those medications shouldn't be crushed. That's the rule." So you're talking about the trauma of what happens in prison, but the other side of that is the lack of care.
That's right.
It
That's
all
trauma.
happens, right? And it is how those medications then are affecting one's body. It is how it is how people are not being taken care of. So when you come home, the condition you are in, not just mentally, but physically,
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. I worked there and I remember walking into the emergency room one day. Now I think I've told this story before, but I had full body hives, head to toe. And I had bruises from the amount of scratching I was doing. And I sat in the emergency room. Doctors came in, they gave me IV medication to calm the itching down. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. Ultimately, they said, "Where do you work?" And I told them I work in Harrisburg, uh, whatever, state prison, whatever it's called. And he looked at me and said, "You need to get a new job."
Wow. It's anxiety.
Yeah, it was anxiety. It was anxiety of how I took accountability for the lives that I was dealing with. It was anxiety from unwarranted takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
It was anxiety from OC spray all the time. you know,
Yeah.
it was anxiety from I didn't become a nurse to treat people poorly, no matter what environment I work in.
That's right.
And I was being forced to do that. And it was then that I realized like that's not the it wasn't the place for me. That's not how I take care of people.
So you think about the dignity violations and what they do to the human soul and psyche.
That's right.
And we
That's
want
right.
you to come home after experiencing that for 30 days or 30 years and just walk back into the house with your children and your grandchildren and your mother and your grandmother and go to work and go talk to your neighbor, go sit on the porch and help your neighbor mow the lawn, without
And
any
that's
support.
permission to have PTSD. Because if you went to war, if you was in the army, if you was in Afghanistan, you know, we cool with you having PTSD. We don't question it. We don't argue with it. And rightfully so. But the war that you have to fight when you are incarcerated, the years, forget about once you receive your sentence. I'm talking about let's reset your case. The year, 2 years, 3 years you spend on a bond you can't afford
That's
before
right.
you even know what the outcome is going to be,
That's
right?
right. I
Then
had
you
$1 million bail and it was no bond, 1 million cash. Now, I want your viewers to pay attention to what I'm saying. $1 million bail, no bond. So I had to have $1 million in cash to get out of prison. Start noticing the bail that people get for sex offenses and murder and for non-violent drug offense. I'm telling you, I had $1 million bail. There was no way that I could walk out of that door without creating a whole bunch of other problems, right?
that's right.
So the system is designed from the very beginning. The arrest is traumatic. The incarceration is traumatic. The release is traumatic. And I wasn't innocent, so
That
that's not
going
what.
back and forth to court, and everybody who's trying to support you, right? All of it is traumatic. It is
It's
not
dehumanizing to them.
right. It's not just to the one person, but it's to
No, entire
everybody
family.
involved. It's the whole family. And you had $1 million bail, no bond for a non-violent drug offense.
Yeah. So we are understanding. You know, you mentioned earlier the school to prison pipeline that we talk about, right?
Mm,
We say that it's a nexus. It's not even a pipeline. It's the same system, right? So we are looking at how do we develop systems of care that work, you know, to return people to a true community. So when people say, well, what is PSN? PSN is a community. PSN is a system. PSN is a way of life. PSN is connection. You know, the Surgeon General has said that loneliness is a public health epidemic. And we believe the solution is belonging. And how do people find belonging? Part of it is through usefulness, right? Part of it is through access, through opportunities, through relationships. So that's what PSN is about. You talked a little bit about the learning management system. We have free online courses where you can develop your skill, where you can get badges, where you can get certificates. We have we're working with sponsors and partners to provide opportunities for jobs and the such, and on the job training so people can change their lives. We have, you talked about the credit repair. We have credit repair. We have entrepreneurial support. You know, we want you to identify what are your skills because we know mastery is important. Everyone deserves mastery. You want to be a nurse. You want to be the best nurse. You want to be recognized and accepted and viewed as a good contributing member of society. And you want to belong to something. You know, I'll share. We did some research at a middle school in Allentown, Pennsylvania, working around gun violence and gang prevention. And we learned that children join gangs for three reasons. The first one is safety.
mm-hmm.
When we as adults fail to keep kids safe, they bond for that basic human right of
That's
safety,
right. That's right.
right? So if you're getting chased home from school, if you're getting bullied, if you're getting whatever it may be, you're going to come together and you're going to realize we are safer in numbers. And what do? We criminalize or pathologize them
Yep.
for wanting that basic human right.
Yep.
Safety is their birthright. And as adults, we should provide it. And when we fail in the community, when we fail on institutions, whether it's juvenile justice facilities, you let people get bullied in prison enough, they're going to start a gang
Yep.
to prevent themselves from getting extorted, abused, robbed, sexually assaulted in juvenile facilities and adult facilities in schools. They're going to start a gang. And
Yep.
that is a failure of the people that are paid to protect and educate them. The second one is belonging. When our youth feel like they are pushed out, kicked out, rejected everywhere that they go, they can't go into the coffee shop and use the bathroom if they can't afford a cup of coffee. They can't go to the library without being kicked out. They won't get the key to the bathroom in the library because they are criminalized, right? So where do they find belonging? The Bloods, the Crips, the Nietas, the Gangs of Disciples, the Latin Kings are
Yep.
always there to welcome them with open arms.
And they will figure out a way to get them the things that they need.
If they need food, if you listen to the stories, right? We do ethnography, we do storytelling, we do research behind the stories that people share. If you talk to people around criminogenic needs is real. How did they get involved in gangs? How did they get involved in crime? It's oftentimes basic needs and building community around those things and mastery.
Yep.
I was good at what I did.
Yep.
I'm great at what I do. You see me organizing and building PSN. If I wasn't doing this years ago, it would have been a gang.
Yep.
But now it's nonprofit organizations, it's for-profit businesses, it's coalitions, it's associations. It's bringing people together to do good. That is a natural talent that I hold. And if there's not a place for me to express that and to belong, I'm going to find alternative ways to find mastery and success. Biggie said it. He said, you're either selling crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. I'm 5'6". I was 5'2" till I was about 17 years old. Everybody needs to be good at something.
That's right. And everybody needs to have that good thing acknowledged.
That's right.
I remember I still stay in contact with my 7th grade English teacher. She was the person who told me I was a good writer. Not only did she tell me I was a good writer, she gave me an opportunity to build on that when she made me the editor of the school newspaper.
That's
Now,
nasty.
I was an over-sexualized, angry, always suspended, constantly fighting, but I never missed a newspaper meeting.
That's right.
I never missed a publication day, and so having the ability to have someone see the good in you beyond what everybody else says is the bad is so important. And
Because you'll begin to see it.
that's right. You begin to see it and you start learning the language to combat the negative self-talk.
Mm. We want everyone to be able to have an identity that says, I'm the editor of the school newspaper.
That's right.
Because that wasn't my identity. I am the cool aunt. I am the neighbor that takes the garbage cans up when people are on vacation. Whatever it may be. We need to be able to identify, to create identities that are pro-social.
Yep.
That play to our strengths, so we can be our authentic selves.
Yes.
And that's what's
so important to not have to wear a mask.
all the time.
All of the time, to just to be able to show up just as you are, with your white beard and my shaved sides, and not have to qualify your skills, your knowledge, for you to show up in your chocolate skin, being a prison survivor, and be seen for all of the things that you are worth.
That's rare. And those are the conditions that are going to change communities. And we have to create them collectively, right? There's an African proverb that says the child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth.
Yeah.
There goes my story.
Yeah.
I continue to burn villages down. I continue to throw chairs in classes. I continue to get expelled, to get kicked out, to get rejected, until I learned to build and join villages. And I was well into adulthood before I learned that.
You burned them down and spontaneously combusted. That's right. Until you learned. Because we will burn them down, but we will burn ourselves down too.
In the process.
And we are losing too many humans. We are losing too many children. We are losing too many people who still have something to give.
We had 3 children under the age of 18 murdered in the last week and a half in the city in which I live. Yeah. And it's a medium-sized city, so that's nothing for Chicago or Philadelphia. But children, babies killing babies, man, and it's not new. The numbers are down, but they're starting to increase. They're ticking up, right?
Yeah.
You have kids all across this country having these wild nights out where they're joining up for fights and to do all of these things. It's nothing new. We did it, but we didn't have cell phones and instant access. You had to call somebody and say, meet me at 4:00 uptown.
Yo, I remember. I'm the freaknik generation, right? No witnesses.
Well, there's witnesses because they got a documentary now.
But I remember my 110 camera. This is real talk. I remember being a teenager, having a little boo boyfriend who was locked up and wanting to send him racy pictures. And I had a 110 camera. I had my best friend take the pictures. We went like 40 blocks to get them developed. Burn the negatives, right? Like it
They developed them?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't know what was on the film. So they developed them. It wasn't that racy. I wasn't, But yeah. And it's so different now. It's so different. And like, these are the things that our community is getting jammed up with. You know, I see it all the time on Instagram. It's some young kid holding a pistol. It's all of these they don't get the impact that has. They don't get.
Their brains are not fully developed. Our brains weren't fully developed.
No, not at all. Not at all. And this is the world that they living in. And then they get jammed up and there's no place to go. And what we are building, what we are looking to do is to make sure, first of all, to prevent, right? We want to capture those kids. But
Capture them with people that understand, that they can relate to, that they respect,
yes.
right? So we're talking about lived experience. Credible messengers are the ones that are reaching out to these juvenile justice facilities, to these schools, to these neighborhoods. Then that matters.
It matters greatly. I cannot relate to someone as easily that doesn't understand my story. And it happens to me all the time. You know, it happens all the time when you have I think one of the biggest things for me, one of the biggest triggers is when I say, "Oh, I had a baby when I was 16, I was pregnant when I was 15." And the person's response to me is, "Oh, you was a fast ass."
Mm-hmm.
And it I'm immediately triggered because you have no idea what my story is.
That's right.
You have no idea what I've been through, what I survived. You have no idea how I got there. And it wasn't because I was a fast ass.
That's right.
You know, and it is those survivor stories that help others survive. It is not being ashamed of my story
That's right.
that continues to help others survive. So we're about 8 minutes out, and I want to make a plea. If first of all are welcome to PSN.
That's right.
But beyond that, if you have
Beyond welcome, all are encouraged and invited to join. We need you.
we need you, and everyone has something to give.
Everyone has something to give.
And we want a space where we don't have to go outside of our space to help each other, which means we need everybody.
That's right.
We want the attorney, the accountant, you know, the
All
plumber,
of
everything, the landscaper,
the grandma that's sitting home that has time to listen to somebody. They
and
need someone to listen to her.
recipe.
Say that again?
And give me her peach cobbler recipe.
Well, depending on whose grandma she is, right?
Right.
Everybody's potato salad, mac and cheese, and peach cobbler is not the same.
That's right. That's right.
So we welcome you to be part of our community, and we will support you, but we may not eat your potato salad.
Yeah.
You know?
You ain't eating nobody's potato salad.
I'm probably not. I'm probably not. I'm working on that.
You ain't even drinking the water.
I'm good. Prison is trauma. I already told you, man. And we carry those scars, and it's together that we heal, man. We can't talk enough about healing occurs in authentic relationships and within community. We can joke about our idiosyncrasies. We can joke about our PTSD, but in those jokes is love that is saying, you know, I told you before I married my wife because she said, baby, you're just a social worker. Ain't nobody following us. Like, I thought I was a kingpin, and you didn't see that red car 3 times today. Nobody following you, baby. But you know, we
and
come
the
from a place.
joke to that is the inside joke to that is the first time I met Hasshan, I gave him a bottle of water that he refused to drink, as if I was gonna poison him.
Yeah, you're trying to poison me. I've been asked, have you ever been poisoned? I know anyone that's been poisoned? No, I don't. Why are you so worried about being poisoned, right? Like, so we need each other, though, man. That's if I could leave our viewers with anything, it's that, and you said it, and everyone has something to give.
Yeah.
Put your talents in the pot. prisonsurvivornetwork.org, prisonsurvivornetwork.org. Join us, join the movement, join the community, show up as your whole self. If you only have the capacity to listen, just listen.
Yep.
We have daily reminders that go out every day through the morning medicine. We have our weekly power hour. We have groups. We have in-person events and brunches and masterminds and trips. We go overseas together. Like, we are a true community. If you know somebody that's returning from prison, I have a new book that's about to launch, Beyond the Nightmare. It is a reentry manual workbook. It's on Amazon. And actually, we haven't launched it, but it is available.
Okay.
It's been approved.
Well,
Beyond the Nightmare. Not to be mistaken with, we have another work. This is the older one. That is Daily Reflections for you. But this is specific, where it talks about where you're going to sleep when you come home.
that's right. That's
You
right.
know, and we have some free downloads, free PDF downloads that we're going to be launching soon. We want to make these things available to people, man.
Yeah.
But
And we need
we
you to do it. And we said everyone has something to give, but everyone has something to gain from PSN.
That's real.
Everyone has something to gain. I don't care. I don't care where you are in your life. There is community, but there is hope, there is joy, there is laughter, there is support, there's accountability. Like, we're not leaving anything out.
That's right.
We are people who are leaving it all on the pavement. And so we encourage you to join us. We encourage you to to uh, to check it out. We have plenty of people who come on, and for the first few weeks, and maybe even never, just listen.
Just listen.
Just listen. Just take it all in without, having to say anything. You share as much or as little as you want. And it's a judgment-free zone. We all got something. Some of us got a lot of somethings.
That's right.
And
One thing's for sure is your life will change.
absolutely.
Your life
Absolutely.
will change. It's inevitable. You enter the circle and your life will change, man. And you will be expected to do the work, right?
Yeah.
So this is not just a community of inspiration. It is a community of inspiration. We're putting out blueprints. There are people that have survived the unthinkable, the unimaginable, that has broken many of people and have come through the other side. This is that survivor's journey, that hero's journey.
Yep.
Came through the depths with the elixir and have come back to say, here's the blueprint. And I'll take your hand and walk this journey with you. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're not the first one to be arrested. You're not the first one to be abused. You're not the first one to be in an unhealthy relationship. You're not the first one to be divorced. You're not the first one to be fired. You're not the first one to not be able to find a job. And I'm not minimizing your pain. It's real. What I'm saying is you're not alone, and that there are time-tested methods that work to
Right.
get us out of those holes, man. And that's PSN.
Everybody who shows up is a hero. Everyone who shows up is their own hero. Because you're saying, I want to do it. Drop that link one more time for us.
prisonsurvivornetwork.org is the link. Join the movement. You're listening to Dr. Batts and Nurse Kim. What is it called? Be Live?
Be Empowered.
I know that's the name of the company, but
the Be Empowered movement is the podcast.
Something said Be Live that I saw.
I don't know. You be reading stuff all wrong.
I do. The Be Empowered movement.
That's
and
right.
This is about the blueprint to survival.
Yes. Come survive with us.
Our survival. Come survive with us.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So we say Prison Survival Network. It's about coming beyond surviving to thriving to building.
That's right.
Generational changes. You're the one.
Yes. Thank you so much, my brother. We keep doing this. We're going to keep on doing this. We're going to keep on pushing. Come survive and thrive with us.
Batman and Robin.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Do well.